be interesting. Alright, next book is another fantasy. This book, I think everyone read maybe a couple of years ago. I wasn't into fantasy when this book came out, but
Hello everybody, I'm the Dragon Princess, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we have the video that has been in a very long process and has taken me a while to complete and finally edit and upload. And that is the cosplay of Tiana's transformation dress from Princess and the Frog. This is the green lily pad flower-esque dress. So this has taken me a while to do. And a lot of process and practice went into it. But basically this project was the first like big costume dress kind of thing that I have done myself. In previous years and with previous costumes, I've gotten a lot of help from my mum. She helped me with the Ash cosplay and she helped me with the Beetlejuice cosplay, as you would have seen in those videos. Okay, so I don't actually know if I have enough fabric for that, and so I'm going to make a paper pattern to see if I can get a good amount from it. But this I managed to do 100% all on my own, and I was quite proud of that. So the first step of this whole thing was actually making a mock-up, kind of making the pattern-ish. I basically started from scratch with this. I didn't use any existing pattern or anything, and so I knew that I wanted the dress to be quite poofy and stuff. So I had found the materials that I wanted to use and draped them over the mannequin and stuff to like figure out what kind of thing that I wanted to do. And then I just made like rough patterns for myself. And so the first step that I took to actually making this was to adjust my petticoat that I had used and worn for my deb. And so what I ended up doing was creating a little channel in the lining on the inside, just at the hem. And so I put some boning in that to make it sit out more and to actually have like hold on its own. So it's a big tulle petticoat, and I just added a bit of boning in the bottom. And then I took my first layer of fabric, this was like a creamy white fabric, and used it for the base. And so I was a little bit worried that I didn't have enough, and I didn't, which was a little bit sad. But basically I just tried to fiddle around with trying to get it to work and stuff, and so I just ended up trying to find some more fabric that was of similar color, and I did, thankfully. It is a different material, but it is the same color and it's the underneath, so you won't see it that much, and so I thought that was completely fine. And so I did that. So I just laid them down on the floor together, where I could fold them in half and have my thing, and so then I cut them and sewed it, and so it all worked wonderfully-ish. The only problem that I ran into was the length of it. It was fine on its own, but I didn't account for it being long enough for the actual petticoat to like go over that. So I had to put on another little section up the top to make it shorter. It was okay, it just wasn't gonna sit high enough because I like my things to sit quite high so that if they sag a bit and pull down, it doesn't really matter. So that is what I ended up doing, is I just cut out another strip to sew around the top, and then basically gathered the waistline of it. With the extra bit for the waistline, I did actually manage to sew it backwards, but it's completely fine because you don't see it at all. I didn't have to tell you, and you would never have known. So I got on to working, trying to do the base, and from that point on, it was actually quite easy. So yeah, so I gathered the waist and then moved on to working on the layers of petals and leaves, however you want to call it, on the dress. So this was all like quite rough, and the materials that I used, I got them all from the op shops. So these were all pretty cheap and secondhand. I think they were all like either curtains or bed sheets or something. So I started to work on the underneath petals that you see on her dress. For this, I just had multiple strips of fabric that I tapered off at the end and then sewed I just sewed them together a little bit, only about a quarter or a fifth of the way down, just so that they would like stick out and flare on their own. And at this point I had tried it on to see if it fit, and I had to take one panel out because it was a bit too big. But it worked pretty well, and they come right down to the floor, and so you can see quite a bit of the underskirt underneath that. And the next step was including the asymmetrical petals that is the final layer. So at first I had cut these all out and hemmed them and all that kind of stuff, and so then I gathered them at the top so that I could pull them so that they would have more volume to them on their own, and so then I just laid them all down on the mannequin on the skirt, and so it was really all coming together. My petals on the top, or the leaves I suppose, on the top layer, they are pretty big, so they do cover up most of the dress, which I don't mind. I really like the look of that. And so once I was happy with everything and working it all out, I started to sew it. So I sewed all of the layers together, and then I added a big waistband on. I made this waistband quite thick so that it would hold all the layers and hold the dress up, and so that it would provide a bit more comfort and warmth, I guess. But at the moment I don't know where I'm going to wear this, so we will have to see how that goes. So after I had sewn the dress all together, I started hemming the bottom of the layers and all of the petals, and also tried it on to see how it would fit. And so I took my waistband and tried it on. And so basically when I was trying it on, I would always have the petticoat underneath, just because I realized then that, you know, if I was going to make this work, I would need to wear the petticoat underneath, because that's what I was going to wear it with. So I would have to base it off that, because, yeah, I didn't want a repeat of my mistake before, where I had it too short. It fit, but it was still too short. With the waistband, I sewed it right size together on the dress. There was so many layers to sew through. I'm glad the sewing machine didn't break or anything, but it was a lot for it to go through. And then I folded it back over so that the wrong sides were together on the waistband. I actually hand stitched the waistband the correct way. I suppose I didn't want to break it, my sewing machine. Alright, well, I completely forgot about that. But anyway, yes. The next step was adding the hook and eye clasps. So I had sewn, tried the dress on, the skirt on again, and had marked where I wanted the hook and eyes, and then I hand stitched them to the edges and then tried it on again. So because this turned out to be such a heavy skirt, mainly because of the material that I used, I think, and the many layers that it has. So I gave this skirt 2 hook and eyes because it was so heavy, and it worked pretty well. So then I tried it on one more time and I was really happy with it. It was complete and it was wonderful. And then, many weeks later, I moved on to the corset. So, in between this, I was very scared of doing this corset, because I had never done them before, and I was petrified. So, that's what birthed the 2 videos that you would have seen. The first attempt at making a corset, and making more corsets where I do eventually get better. So I had finally figured out how I wanted to do this and how I wanted to make it, and the techniques I wanted to use and all of that jazz, and so I started. So unfortunately, I cut out these pieces wrong, and so half of them are backwards, but this is all the lining pieces and the more top pieces that this actually worked well, but I ran out of this fabric, so I just used this fabric for the outside, and then this is the back anyway. And so I'm trying a different strategy where instead of sewing all of this together and like all the back and front, all of it together, sew it along the top and bottom, and then flip it inside out, I'm going to do the front. I'm going to do it slightly the same, but with the back pieces off. So this is the front piece, however it goes. Sew the seams of the outside and the lining, put boning in it, sew the top half, flip it inside out. Do the same for these end pieces. So sew the seam, put the boning in, sew top and bottom with the lining, flip it inside out, and then I'm going to sew them together so that hopefully I get a nice folded edge along the back sides with the boning, so that I can get lacing. I'm just gonna do loops instead of the like grommets, or yeah, whatever you call them, the eyelets. Yeah, instead of that. So that's my plan for this. It was pretty simple. If you do want a little bit more of an in-depth sort of explanation and stuff, I do talk about it here, but if if you do want more of an in-depth explanation of like how I do things and stuff, I kind of rushed this one because I had practiced it quite a few times. But if you would like, go over and watch the making more corsets video. I will link it in the cards for you to watch. But there I kind of go over it multiple times and tell you how I made it. So if you're interested in that, go watch that video. So I tested it out just to see with the other method, and it is actually going to work. It's a bit of a tight fit, but I think that makes it slightly better. I just have to put 2 in here because these don't reach all the way down, and I'll have to like tape them together a little bit. But it actually does work, which I am quite happy about. Okay, so I've done the back 2 panels, and this is what I've got so far. There are some of the spots are a little like tight for the zip ties, but I'm just gonna have to file them back to make them a bit rounded so that they slide through properly and don't like get caught on any of the fabric. But so far I'm quite happy that I can still do this method because I really like it. So as you can see, the whole process went really smoothly. I was really happy with it and really excited. I didn't mind actually in the end about the fabric mishap of like me cutting it out wrong, you know, you gotta make some mistakes with this. But yeah, I am super happy with that, and after I stitched it all together and sewed it all together and stuff and had finally done the corset, that is when I went on to making the top petals, and unfortunately you don't really see this for the corset. And I also made a back panel so that when you lace up, there's a little bit, you can see the fabric underneath, and I didn't really want that to be skin, so I made a back panel. At the moment, I'm not kind of sure what I'm gonna do for finishing touches, but you will see that. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. That would really help my channel, and if you want to see more sort of costume things like this, please go watch my costume playlist and hit subscribe so that you can see more like this video. But thank you all so much for watching. Remember to stick around for the final reveal. I'm not sure when that's coming, but it is happening. But thank you all so much for watching, and remember, I'm the Dragon Princess, and I will see you all later. Bye! So I am pretty happy with this. I made good progress on it today, so hopefully tomorrow is going to be finishing touches, like the top sort of face panel applique, and I have to make a petal that goes at the hip, and I have to make a back panel for this. So that is all that I need to do, and then I am finished, which I'm really excited about this. I can't believe I made like a full thing. Didn't even know I could do that. But there you go.
Wow.